Hello everybody, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. Hope everyone's doing well, having a good day. It's Saturday, July the 26th. A somewhat miserable and overcast day here, which really isn't surprising, as I spent a whole 2 hours plus riding around on my lawnmower yesterday, attending to all the lawns, making things look nice. And as per usual, that usually indicates that it's going to rain, which, oh well, it is what it is, right? Living where I live, I don't mind rain during the summer. When you live in a forest fire type environment, when it gets a little too dry, we get a little concerned. Anyway, eagle-eyed people will also note that I'm wearing my going to town clothes today. I have an appointment which must be attended to. And this is about as smart as I ever dress, which is one of the nice things about being retired. Having spent most of my working career wearing a uniform or a suit and tie, it's nice to absolutely forego such things. Anyways, to boxing. Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber, good Lord, need to break in a new tongue here this morning. He has again called out Anthony Joshua. Now, excuse me, this is deja vu, isn't it, really? 39-year-old, record of 44-4-1. Deontay Wilder, former long-time WBC heavyweight champion of the world. 5 years, actually. Exceptionally well managed. And a fellow who made the absolute most out of the gifts that he was given. Has teased, I suppose is the right word, a fight with Anthony Joshua for a number of years. The fact of the matter, however, would suggest that when push came to shove, when approximately $100 million was on offer, the bronze bomber got a little bit cold feet, maybe? A little bit sort of chilly around the ankles, and chose not to fight Anthony Joshua. And then later on, when Turki Al-Sheikh came up on the scene and was matching these guys, you know, they only had one more fight to do each, and then it was going to happen. Well, as always, when you get a fight ahead of yourself, you run into the banana skin situation. Anyhow, will it happen now? Does anybody care if it will happen now? Well, the will it happen bit we can talk about in a moment. Does anybody care? I would say most people probably not. Having said that, I would like to see it happen because, as I've said with AJ and Fury, if you look at those three guys, Fury, AJ, Wilder, they were, for a period of time, the three top heavyweights in the world, at least by the ratings or rankings. We know what happened in the trilogy between Wilder and Fury. First one was a draw, second two were losses. Fury emerges to be the victor. I would like to see that sort of round robin, you know, because at the end of the piece, it sort of draws a line under that era, or, if you prefer, puts a period at the end of the sentence. So I would like to see Wilder and AJ fight. Is it going to be anywhere near as interesting as it would have been 5 years ago? Of course not. But, you know, for two fellows who are either at the very end or at least the twilight of their careers, for me, I'd like to see it happen. Anyways, let's have a listen, or a look rather, at what at what Deontay Wilder had to say. He spoke to the Fighter's Voice about this. And he said, with respect to the Anthony Joshua fight, most definitely it will happen. We're still in it and we're still active. We're going to meet each other. You know, it's a lot of great things that has been going on in boxing, you know, with different people that's getting involved and making the best fights happen at this appropriate time. You know, and I'm looking forward to it all. I'm quoting his verbatim comments. I don't have no time to take no steps back. You know, we have a strategic plan that we have planned, set for, and we're following along with it. But if we have to take certain shortcuts and certain things, we will do so. I am a veteran in this business at this moment in time, and I love every bit of it. It's just a really mangled few sentences, but hey, it is what it is, right? So, from what I understand of this version of the English language, it looks like, yes, I'd like to get it on with Anthony Joshua. We're both still in the business. Lots of cool things have been happening with people being brought in and making these really good fights. At my stage in this career, I don't really have time to waste. And if necessary, in order to make this fight with AJ happen, I'll make some shortcuts. What does that mean? Maybe it means fewer warm-up, get my feet wet type fights. I'm ready to kind of jump into the deep end of the pool. That's my interpretation of this. Your interpretation may be a little different, but we at least now have the verbatim comments of Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, his last fight, of course, was a warm-up fight against a former fan. But the last meaningful fights, December 2023, he lost to Joseph Parker. And then in June 2024, he was stopped by Zhilei Zhang. AJ's last meaningful fight was, of course, against Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. And Daniel Dubois comprehensively beat Anthony Joshua, who I still maintain... heavens knows what game plan he had, because as a fan, it was impossible to tell. But he did go out on his shield. Would Anthony Joshua be interested in fighting Deontay Wilder? I suppose it all means money, doesn't it, really? He historically has been interested in fighting Deontay Wilder. So one would assume that he would still be interested in fighting Deontay Wilder. Clearly, Anthony Joshua would like to fight Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury has never shown any willingness or keenness to fight Anthony Joshua, and I suspect that that is pretty much the status quo. So, would we get to see Fury AJ? I doubt it. Will we get to see AJ Wilder? Possibly. Like, one has to think, if Anthony Joshua does decide to continue his career, what fights are there for him? I'm not seeing him champing at the bit for a Dubois rematch. If Fury isn't interested, really, other than this nonsense about fighting Jake Paul, which I simply refuse to accept that can be real, Deontay Wilder would seem to be the most sensible choice, really. It would sell. I mean, it may not appeal to the hardcore fans, but, you know, there's an awful lot of casual fans out there who recognize AJ's name, recognize Wilder's name, probably still think they're the top two fighters around. I'm talking of casual fans, right? You know, go to your local sports bar and ask people, you know, have you heard of Anthony Joshua? No. Oh, yeah. He's a top boxer, right? Sadly, if you asked, you know, have you heard of Alexander Usyk? Those same people might say, not really. Like, if you're watching this, you're probably more leaning towards the hardcore fan. But remember, there's a lot of, just sort of dip their toe in the water periodically type boxing fans. So I think Wilder and AJ would sell, and it could sell in the US or in the UK, and of course in Riyadh. So why not? Let them get it on. Who do you think would win? I would favour AJ, but heavens knows if he gets clipped, all bets are off, right? So yeah, it could be an interesting fight, well past the sell-by date. But hey-ho, it would be, like I said before, that period at the end of the sentence. Let me know what you think. And now I must get my rear into gear and head off into town. I'll talk to you all later. Have a fabulous day and catch you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.